North America's 2, only one can go through to the grand final.
Dickies Arena, get locked in. We got G2 and FaZe starting right now. And it's gonna be a lot of high-flying action.
Oh, we just got a thrilling series, but I can only hope we get the same level of mechanics, the same speed, and these teams certainly have what it takes to give us a thrilling match. And right away, we've got some offense from FaZe Clan going off the backboard. 2 players up, a double commit from G2 Esports, maybe a chance to strike early for FaZe Clan, but JNAP says, no way, I'm gonna clear this ball out.
A couple of players that are not where they started this season, finding new homes in the middle of the season for the better in the end. Out in front for JNAPs, looking for another shot at glory, but there's First Killer going up against Atomic, and guys, for First Killer, oh so close now to playing for our World Championship, with the ball taken right away from him, and now AJ's got to take over.
So close here has been FaZe on the opening attacks. Just those final shots, not necessarily being on target. We saw G2 have some form of a counterattack here at the beginning of this, but the pressure has been all FaZe on the opener. Typical. Atomic with the block, follow-up from First Killer, also blocked out as well. The G2, when they're on that counterattack, they don't keep the ball for long. Look at that cut. First Killer right on top of it. They're back in the upper third again with another testing ball, and Atomic makes that stop.
This is the true test against G2's defense. NRG had some moments, a couple of highlight plays, but for FaZe Clan, they are going to be hammering the net as often as they can. And G2's defense will truly test themselves, and if they can hold on against FaZe Clan, and of course, First Killer, who can basically fire from any angle on the field and find his mark.
Typical now will give that one to First Killer. Here comes FaZe Clan with AJ. Do his right. Won't be called immediately into action. Trailing behind the play. It's Typical's shot that is easily dealt with by JNAPs as AJ had one go out towards Tip, but it won't reach him. And Atomic testing the defense, and the defense passes with flying colors.
Still though, love what I'm seeing here from AJ. You saw him moving upfield kind of in that second man position. The ball got away from him. He left it for Typical, then used his boost to keep the ball in front for FaZe. They've been keeping an eye on how G2 move, and they're gonna have to play things perfectly and share the ball if they want to be successful on these drives.
Typical up the ladder as Chicago and JNAPs crisscross. A long, arduous journey for many of these players to finally get this close to a World Championship. Pop-up opportunity for Chicago. The leading scorer in the tournament doesn't convert, but JNAPs does. Top left, 1-0.
This is how threatening Chicago can be. All 3 players of FaZe Clan expected a flip reset, expected a shot to come through. It didn't. And then here comes JNAPs with all the time in the world to make sure he's accurate and find the top corner.
And that's what makes G2 such a threat, because even if Chicago doesn't get the touch, you got JNAPs, who's one of the best shooters in the world. He showed you there. AJ, though, blocked down from Atomic. Can he save it again? Yes! G2 can, as they keep this a 1-goal game.
JNAPs did not score in their quarterfinal series, didn't need to. All he had to do was give the ball to Chicago. It could be the recipe for success here, but right now it's FaZe Clan on the attack, and Atomic will finally relieve the pressure for G2, trying to bring this to ground and put it in a spot for Chicago to run onto it. And now First Killer. He's got Typical way over. Can he get back into the play is the question, as AJ takes charge, and JNAPs makes sure Typical doesn't have a clean read.
FaZe Clan, though, have a powerful approach on offense, finding solid positioning around the net. I think it's going to be one midfield pass that could end things, end the drought in game 1 for them. Typical up to the challenge, doesn't find it. First Killer following up there in the second man position, and Chicago's looking to go off the backboard. Easily intercepted from AJ. FaZe Clan, really fundamental gameplay from them, just waiting on them to end this curse.
First Killer got over one, but just narrowly missed. Looking for an equalizer. FaZe have had 2 or 3 near misses that have been oh so close, but still held scoreless in game 1. Remember, G2 working on 3 consecutive shutouts to close out the series with NRG, as First Killer will bring one to the corner. And well, he got around Chicago, got almost around JNAPs, but G2 hanging on trying to squeeze out the rest of the life from game one.
Final 30 seconds in game one, and FaZe Clan have yet to be successful on offense. G2's been keeping the ball away from him. Almost putting in another one in Chicago! He does it, and it's a 2-goal lead for G2.
AJ, as the third man was rotating in quickly, he had the positioning, had the save, but then just didn't get the touch. It rolls in 2-0 for G2. 21
seconds remain. FaZe needs an all-star kickoff right here to get themselves back into game one. Else G2 is about to put together another shutout. This is one of the best defensive performances we've ever seen at a World Championship as G2's masterclass continues.
They're so good, Stacks. They're picking apart FaZe Clan right now. Look at that shot from JNaps to get it around Sip like that. Picture perfect from the all-star shooter. He's locked in.
And they've had to play more defense in this game alone than what felt like the entire series against NRG, where they were just pressuring them nonstop every single minute. It felt like they were on offense. They've had to play so many seconds in their own half, finding save. JNaps has got a couple of predictions himself, and this ball will stay in the air. Eventually it drops, and we see G2 Esports show up right in front of us.
2-0 shutouts, 3 games in a row to close out NRG, and now a 3-0 shutout to start off against FaZe. G2, we've talked about teams wanting it more, Daz. It doesn't seem. Maybe on the other side, Furia, but there might not be another team that wants it more than G2.
See, Staffy on the screen, coach of G2 has the game plan, always communicating. This team, when they are on, they play on a level that no one else can match. And for FaZe Clan, the challenge there is to match them, as that was a very dominant game one performance there from G2. I mean, everybody getting at least 3 shots from them. And on the other side of things, also getting at least 3 saves from them. As you see the stats on the screen, it's going to be a challenge for FaZe, but G2 are fun.
They had to work for that. They've given up 1 goal in 6 games now.
Ridiculous.
1.
Ridiculous.
That is the stuff world champions are made of. But there is still a whole series ahead here. You know that FaZe surely has a lot more in the tank. But that first game has to be an aberration. Otherwise, this is going to get real ugly real fast.
You talk about wanting it more. Of course, G2, everybody remembers them in their grand finalist spot, Season 7 versus Vitality. They're 1 series away from making it back into the grand finals. But FaZe Clan, the young guns, the rookies here at the World Championship, at least in First Killer, that man alone can lead his team all the way through. AJ's got some experience, of course, typical as well. We'll see if that comes together. All 3 pieces are going to be needed if they want to take down G2 Esports.
Chance here for First Killer, and he strikes, getting the first goal for FaZe and the first goal in game 2.
Well, there we go. So much for the shutout. As FaZe gets on the board very early on in game 2, First Killer getting the helper from Typical, and First Killer, you know, he absolutely wants this. It's been almost written in the stars that he's going to win one of these sometime. No better time than right here, right now in Fort Worth.
Let's see if
what a shot by Atomic!
My goodness.
And First Killer kept that one out. And here goes Typical on the counter for FaZe, and Atomic stopped that one.
We talk about First Killer and the things that he wants to accomplish, as well as the rest of FaZe Clan, but getting past this G2 team, who are as resilient as some of their fans, that is a tall order. Right now, a minute into game 2, you saw them almost able to equalize, but FaZe still able to hold on to the lead.
Good aerial play there from JNaps to force a 50-50 in the corner. Then he also takes the boost. A solid look of possession. Demo on the field from JNaps on First Killer. And then another one from Chicago. The pressure is mounting for G2 Esports. Just waiting for that one slip up from FaZe Clan. Somehow they have broken away and fend off against G2's onslaught.
Finally a clear. First Killer does get that redirect, bounces off the back wall. JNaps to Atomic. Atomic gets the second touch, won't be able to get a third, but look at that, Chicago on the wall, immediately able to get the read. Fantastic positioning here, G2, everywhere FaZe don't want them to be.
What's he doing up there? Reading the play, that's what. But FaZe Clan still up 1 goal. There's 3 minutes left, a little bit over, as G2 taking boost, putting on shots, but it's not shaking FaZe Clan.
Starting to look very similar to G2's last series, where they throw the shutout in game 1, get one back in, kind, typical, backboard, and late coming in, his first killer, and JNaps not fooled at all by the high backboard ball. And now here goes Zip again around Chicago and through Atomic, but still just a little bit wide. Another close call as FaZe Clan nearly gets another. They have certainly had their chances. We said that about NRG as well, but FaZe Clan have been much closer than G2's previous opponents as this goes all the way back. First killer avoids the demo, then gets one of his own, and that ball rolls wide.
This one is battle of speed and precision. As both teams have really solid, good reads on the field, they're trying to disrupt each other. It's a fast game on and off the ball. As again, we're just seeing a lot of boost grabs, a lot of demos, or chances for demos to get, because G2 want to make FaZe uncomfortable on the counter so they can find an open lane to punish.
Early shot from JNaps does get saved from FaZe Clan, and for me, I think FaZe Clan, they got to play the long game. I mean, the key against G2 is relieving this pressure where they can put on 7, 8 shots in a row, it feels like, in just one possession. And they've done well so far, getting clears out, finding flicks like this from AJ. This allows for time for that third man to get boost, get back into position, and that's what NRG were lacking in their series. FaZe Clan have found it in game number 2.
There's a lot of nervous energy inside Dickies Arena right now as Typical nearly converts on a worldie, but instead it remains only the 1-goal lead for FaZe Clan, and I think that's why a lot of the fans might just kind of be a little nervous because they've had chances to expand this lead like that one there, but have just come up short. Keeping the pressure on though is AJ. Now he's got options in the midfield. Gonna take this to ground himself, and Chicago waiting the whole time, and another goal line save. G2 have given themselves ample opportunity to come back in this game as they deny FaZe Clan again.
Atomic looking for an equalizer, first killer, great touch out.
First.
G2 trying to slow things down, gain control, FaZe Clan trying to out-pressure them. Less than a minute remaining. Atomic trying to get control of that, but won't end up reaching the ceiling. G2 wants to make the most out of these drives, but for FaZe, they are all over the ball, making it as hard as possible.
This is it, the final 30 seconds approaching. G2 Esports have held their own on the defensive side, but have come up scoreless on offense. They need something. This is their chance, Stacks.
20 seconds remain for G2 to avoid FaZe Clan leveling the series. Atomic's got to get out of his own back line. He has got this to Chicago. Try to set up JNaps. He's way back. There was nobody to receive that ball.
He's got boost.
5 seconds now. JNaps, have they saved their best for last on Aquadome? Atomic can't reach it, and FaZe Clan tie the series.
It was a tense game 2, even despite FaZe Clan taking the win, even with them with all that pressure, it just didn't feel like they were safe. As G2 Esports, so many different opportunities for them to get in, and even down to the final seconds, they still were creating drives.
And they suffocated, in particular, Chicago. This man had 0 shots, 4 saves to his name. He was stuck on the goal line. When previously in their series against NRG, he had 88% goal participation, 1.2 goals per game. He was getting involved left and right up on the field. And for him to be forced back, forced on that goal line, that alleviates so much pressure and makes it much easier to transition out from the defense if you're FaZe Clan.
I think a lot of our internal discussions while we've been watching these series is, all right, who's going to be the MVP if their respective team wins? And immediately the names Chicago and Seiko come to mind. Chicago shut down in that game, and that is a tall task that FaZe Clan has just accomplished because, as you mentioned, he has been hotter than the sun here at the World Championship. So now everything settles down. We go now into game 3. Iconic DFH Stadium, the backdrop for a tie-breaking game in the semifinals. One team getting one step closer to playing for the World Championship and a $600,000 first prize.
G2 opened the series with a lot of pressure and some pinpoint accuracy against FaZe Clan. And boy, did they respond with a 1-goal shutout, making Chicago, who was on fire, look cold. But now that the scores equalize, these two teams will try to adapt, see who can take the lead of the series.
Typical up to the heavens, but Atomic is there to stop him. Great pickups for FaZe Clan and G2 throughout the season.
What a pass.
First killer in the way of AJ. It is the FaZe Clan way yet again. Those two just cannot get out of each other's way, and it rears its ugly head at the worst possible moment. First killer, though, after the demo by Typical, and still G2 keeps this scoreless, but for how much longer? Oh, what a great stop. Way out in front by Zip.
Now, that's just a disaster, and it feels almost like bad karma. Think back to FaZe Clan against V1. FaZe Clan got 1 or 2 goals where it bounced off the V1 defense, and this time they saved their own shot. And they know how it feels to have some misdirection from your own team. First killer looking for the in-and-out save, doesn't find it, and it's Chicago who gets the first goal.
Chicago with his second of the series, and so important between these two teams. G2 12-1 when they score first. FaZe Clan undefeated in 11 games when they score first. The numbers greatly favor G2, but will reality still hold here? Chicago, after the demolition, get it! On a 2-0!
It's the G2 charge! Chicago picked it up. 1 demo, Atomic bumping AJ. You can't save it if you can't put a hand up.
3 goals for Chicago in the series. He just continues to light up the scoreboard. We'll get the colors right eventually. Here goes Typical. FaZe Clan need a lot out of him. It cannot just be this guy, as much as he would like to carry the team. As Atomic bounces one out, first killer's there, and he's gonna make the quick turn. Give it to him, get out of the way, and see what happens as Atomic will put one back out to midfield.
And a really early jump from Atomic on the defensive side. They're making sure they can get up in front of every shot coming their way. They know FaZe Clan, and with the speed behind them, are gonna have shots prepared by a mile. And that one was read by a mile away from AJ, able to turn things around and get some offense going.
Oh, he's trying to get that one straight down. First killer gets demoed by JNaps. Now JNaps looking to move upfield. G2 trying to add to the total. FaZe Clan trying to bring themselves back into this game. AJ in trouble.
Bounce.
Atomic demo. See you later. G2, that drive is gonna fall apart.
Here goes first killer right at Chicago, got around him.
Got boost.
And still the defense of G2. Not relenting a bit. Not giving FaZe Clan an inch, and Chicago narrowly misses here. A shot that may well have put them up 3. Still some life now for FaZe as that one threads the needle, but Atomic there for the stop. First killer indirect for himself in Chicago. We'll find JNaps, who will find Atomic. Here's that G2 attack, at least the counter looked promising, then stalled out at the end.
FaZe Clan got to focus up on these clears. Finding a teammate downfield is critical at this moment. AJ's up early, then Typical does get a pass forward. First killer can find a 50-50, but the pressure is going to die with that challenge. FaZe Clan not layered enough to keep things moving, but Atomic has it all planned out, and JNaps is in position.
It's Atomic in the midfield. Gets the flip reset. You gotta get the ball off of him, because if he gets it to that back wall, JNaps will be there to put it top corner every single time.
It looked like they tried to get a hand up, and really G2 asked the question, can I help you? And FaZe Clan just like, no thanks, just looking. 3-0. First killer has an open net here. Can JNaps catch it? No, and first killer gets one back for FaZe.
A very common issue and mistake that we have known G2 to oftentimes overcommit, and there was also a demo. I'm not sure if it would have affected the third man. Almost a free one given to FaZe Clan, but brilliant vision to see the open net.
Can G2 recover and keep this game under control? They've got a 2-goal lead, a minute 45 left here.
Oh, man.
FaZe get 1.
AJ.
You can see them going on a run here.
It could slip out of their hands, Daz. I mean, it can happen as quickly as that kickoff. You get some momentum. They've got a goal now. They know what it feels like to score, and they've got time to get back in.
I'm just happy we have a G2 game that's not a shutout one way or the other, as Chicago launches one back that Typical has to address. And he plays that to the left side. His teammates are over on the right. And so there's only Typical that can follow this play up. And his teammates have to retreat and stop another G2 onslaught that JNAPS rolls home, and that one may seal the deal in game 3.
See first killer last back. It's a great 50 from Chicago. AJ not back in time. Open lane for JNAPS, and you gotta wonder, FaZe Clan, what is the problem?
Absolutely.
Why are they letting in so many?
Well, it seems like they were getting too desperate now as the final minute is approaching, and I respect definitely the aggression. I mean, you're down, what was it, 2 goals at the time, and for AJ, he needs to get aggressive, start implementing himself, and forcing some better challenges on offense. So I'm not surprised to see them overcommit, but the decision-making of when to overcommit seems to be off, as Atomic knows exactly when to go for a double tap. 5-1 G2.
Oh, Atomic. You can't give him that. It's automatic. Reese the double. Clean and easy from the midfielder from G2. I mean, that man can do it all.
Let me put on my coach's cap for a moment here. I've identified 3 problems for FaZe Clan. Number 1, Atomic. Number 2, Chicago. Number 3, JNAPS.
That'll do it.
G2 up to a 5-1 lead here in game 3.
Thank you, Stacks.
You're welcome.
This guy.
Be here all day.
Just total control from G2. As it feels like they have FaZe figured out. As this game has gone out of FaZe's hands, even with a free shot like that from first killer. That one doesn't go into the back of the net. Now, FaZe, they got to do everything they can to try to reset here. Otherwise, this series could get away from them.
I mean, it was just one game ago where FaZe Clan had all the possession and their defense looked much more solidified than it does right now in game number 3. I think they got too ahead of themselves and were trying to push up, like I said, at the wrong times. It's all about the decision-making of when to move forward. The ball's still up, but eventually it will fall, and we will see G2 Esports take game number 3.
Blast is in session as G2, 2 wins away from reaching the grand final. We know it will be a North American team there. We don't know which region they will face, Europe or South America. After an incredible 7-game series, G2 trying to follow that up, and they have taken a lot of the excitement out of this series. I mean, the 2 games they've won have not been close at any point. FaZe put up a fight, and then all of a sudden G2 pulled away again, and that was the end of it. Now we go into game 4. And I wonder, as we look back at the Mobile One high performance replay, or rather the G2 highlight reel, does FaZe Clan go with a timeout, or does Raul trust his team to get through one more game and see if they can right the wrongs?
That's going to be the biggest question.
Can you risk it, though? One more game to put it on match point.
Do you just play it out, or do you try to slow things down? You also got to think for G2, I mean, they're using that time just as much as you are. They're constantly communicating. They're constantly talking things out. They don't go with a timeout as far as I know. So they're going to try to play through this one.
And what a journey, by the way, for Roldes. He goes from being a player and kind of combining as player and host alongside you on First Touch. Then he goes to just being a caster. Now he's a coach. He's held all the different titles here. But still, now he and his team looking for the one that matters most, the world title.
And this is his chance to make the biggest impact he possibly can in Rocket League history. 1 series away from the grand finals. Everything is up to FaZe Clan. They need to recover and make some changes on the defensive side if they want to keep going and stay competitive in this game.
Keeping composure when you're in the biggest moment of your career. Good luck. FaZe Clan having to have to do that, having to slow down a G2 that is firing ahead on all cylinders. That is something that you'll need to really show your magic in. So far, scoreless in game 4. It's FaZe Clan trying to battle back.
Chicago gonna park here and just sky one up in the air. Let his teammates get some boost and reset. Everybody's got plenty. Except, of course,
Big demo,
who's way downfield, and that means he's not in the play, but Chicago is, and he's got his 4th goal.
And the first shot worked as a fake. First killer got demoed. AJ expected a quicker shot to come through, and Chicago's composure and patience pays off tenfold. First goal again for G2.
They run their record after that last game, 13-1 after scoring first. They do it again, they'll be on match point. And the teams that get to 3 wins first, they've been so great. JNaps, another saved away by First Killer, and Typical was there as well. And now here comes FaZe Clan. JNaps veering out, bowing out of the play. AJ takes over again at midfield. JNaps there to meet Typical, comes down to First Killer, who got cold feet at the last moment, thought Atomic had it. Now 1-on-2, First Killer, oh, what a pass! Over to AJ, tie game!
And you can see it creeping up. As soon as First Killer has time, and AJ on the wing, even JNaps was caught stuck as he had to watch that play get past.
Well, how many times is First Killer gonna pass that ball? If you're G2's defense, you think he's obviously shooting.
Exactly.
It's First Killer, that's what he does. No, the great team play that time ties up the game.
And that shows the development of First Killer. I think when he first started playing and competing in the RLCS, he was so eager to make an impact and really show what he's got mechanically, so he'd go for the shot. There, he's opting for the pass. There were 2 players in the net, knew it was the better option, executed well, and got his team back into it. Here's Typical, looking to get them back in the lead, and he finds it.
And FaZe, a high-flying action team, slowing things down this time. You see AJ get some interference and Sip with the low 50 bounces off the post and in. FaZe Clan with the lead as we approach the halfway point of game 4.
JNaps still almost got to that, despite the interference from AJ going forward. Now here goes First Killer. That goes out to the wing and very quickly back into FaZe Clan territory. Both teams trying to win the battle at midfield as the ball ricochets back and forth, redirect well wide. And G2 maybe just kind of wipe a little sweat off their brow like, oh yeah, no, we knew he was there. Another opportunity sent away by Atomic, but only as far as AJ. FaZe Clan getting a lot closer to the G2 net than their fans would like right now. So now they have to retreat as AJ gets that to the corner.
FaZe Clan looked very confident though in this game. We were a little concerned after game 3, wondering why wasn't there a timeout? But they come in, they play, and it just feels like even with G2 getting the first goal, they remain locked in. Can they stop G2 from trying to get the equalizer now? FaZe Clan still with the lead, less than 2 minutes in regulation.
Oh, Typical got one last touch to get around Chicago. And one more to get around JNaps, and the shot deflected away by Chicago. As he recovers. Double tap! Bang, bang on a tough angle.
What is this from AJ? Flipping into the angle, finds it, and there is no way you can get a save or even predict what's coming out of that shot.
Every now and then, FaZe Clan shows us a little bit of wizardry. They've saved it for the semifinals when they absolutely need it. G2 threatening to go on match point. FaZe Clan standing in their way and standing tall. Here goes AJ again. Atomic gets this out to the corner. JNaps will jump in. Not a lot of boost to work with for either attacker from G2, and that attack was doomed from the beginning. AJ and First Killer work in tandem, getting this down in front, and Typical denied.
From
Chicago lining one up, and it bounces away almost off of First Killer.
Yeah, you saw Chicago had the read on that double. Atomic looking for a pass, G2 trying to get back in. Chicago, no, it's off. Atomic will put one in, and G2 bring the game within 1.
And this all developed from their own corner. A big pass across. AJ had it read, but then backflipped on the play. Would have intercepted it. It went through, and they were able to continue on with their pressure.
G2, tell FaZe, they are not out of the woods just yet, but can they equalize in this final minute?
Cannot rest for even a second against G2. A proven pedigree that very few teams in the world possess. Here's AJ trying to kill off 35 more seconds. JNaps indirect. Atomic a little slow to the play.
Off the side.
Lateral pass, and that's intercepted by Typical, forces JNaps all the way back as G2 has to work coast to coast with very little time remaining. Chicago in front, Atomic denied by First Killer. Down to 15 seconds now. Another opportunity for Chicago, and G2 stuffed by Typical. Out to the side, he can carry it himself. JNaps won't let him. Now Atomic with little time remaining.
Got the bump!
Dive bomb onto AJ. JNaps has to work now. From way downtown, and Chicago keeps it in the air. How much longer can G2 hang on? That's how long as this goes to ground, and FaZe Clan tie the series.
Down to the last second. G2 is a team that won't quit, but FaZe Clan weather the storm. Series all tied up now after what we thought was a full momentum swing after the game 3. I mean, it felt like G2 had everything going, and the concern for FaZe Clan was there, but my goodness, did they turn things around.
It was an unbelievable adjustment on the defensive side. They were throwing everybody forward previously in the other game, and in this one, they slowed it down as that third man. They would let their first man and second man do a little bit of damage. Right here, we see First Killer and AJ. They don't need the third man to crash the net, and because of that, the third man is staying far more patient, going all the way back to at least the midfield line, taking some boost and being much more safe with the defense. And that's why you don't see G2 Esports able to hold on to possession for as long as they did in every other series so far we've seen at the World Championship.
When you look at these two teams on paper, yes, you would think G2 would be the favorite, but it may actually be kind of a favorable matchup for FaZe Clan when you look at a G2 team that steals so much boost. They steal more boost than anybody else in this tournament. But they're going up against a guy in First Killer who almost always seems to be at 100. It doesn't matter what AJ and Typical are doing, as long as First has all the boost in the world, they always have a shot to move downfield. He can catch up to almost anything. That's what G2 has to contend with. They've got to stop him from running free all around the field.
It's tough though, because if you take your eyes off AJ and Typical for a moment, I mean, you saw that double from AJ last week.
You can't give him space. You simply cannot.
They are a triple threat just as much as G2 are. They've all earned their right to play on this stage for a chance for the grand final. You see that AJ coming in. It's awkward for Chicago, but he gets the puck. And JNaps will clear it into the corner.
And he had to get the read off the ceiling. A remarkable 50-50 down and in. And Chicago recovered, but then all of a sudden, First Killer gets a dribble. We know what that man can do whenever he's got control of the ball.
AJ needs one more touch instead he'll let it come to ground. First Killer
comes again.
Got around Chicago. Netward, and JNaps comes back. Great recovery for the save as G2 keeps it scoreless for now, and Atomic there with another stop.
And that was a great touch from AJ, just being able to keep it into the air, because again, FaZe Clan has hit 2. Sip last back, that one gets out. Chicago tried to get the shot, but was just denied before he was able to really get a place on that ball. G2 trying again to make the most out of their drive. Chicago almost with the air dribble to the top left.
First Killer. Oh, good ball intended for AJ, and an even better bump by Atomic that spun him out, and it leads to this opportunity that Chicago almost converts. He had a double lined up. I don't think he was going to be able to finish it. JNaps got a piece of that as well, and now this shot sent away is typical. And AJ credited with that stop, and Atomic back to Chicago, around and around they go. Counterattack meets counterattack. It is a track meet on Wasteland.
FaZe Clan, a few double commits, 2 players in net, going for the same shot. They saw JNaps in the midfield and still connecting on shots, but FaZe Clan find a way to get themselves in front of these.
That's Typical with a lot of space and time, but not a lot of boost, so has to get rid of the ball. See First Killer sitting with 100. He's waiting for a way to go in.
Does he have a flip?
And Atomic with this carry can at least get some ground for G2, but you have to be very careful how you move. This game's still scoreless. A couple of minutes have gone by.
First Killer using that boost this time to get all the way to the corner, but he lost the ball to Atomic, who lost to Typical. AJ flipping out of the net, he's got to rush back as JNaps tested him. Now First Killer trying to get it going here. He's got 2 goals, as does AJ. Typical's added 1 for FaZe Clan. They came alive in game 4, but now both teams looking for the first strike in a tie-breaking 5th game.
That last man back starting to push up, get too eager. FaZe Clan need to keep their composure. It's all tied up. They've held on defense. Trust in your first 2 players throwing themselves at the ball. AJ doesn't get any connection. AJ also continues to find another bump, but then Typical has some space, opts to go for the backboard. And things have slowed down, Daz. Not as dominant on either side. G2 Esports held pressure at the beginning half, but like I said, much more composed and cautious from these two teams.
The caution is there. Even with this one from JNaps going off the ceiling, does get the dunk. Does get the
Oh my goodness!
JNaps!
He's still got it. JNaps, the veteran, styling on the young guns.
Can you believe this man's talking about retirement? Are you kidding me? 1-0, 1:43 to go. And certainly the loudest goal of this series. Now Typical trying to answer. Good luck. Atomic sends that one away, so AJ's got to take care. And who does he have to work with? Nobody. They're all running back. Typical had to cut. And first killer way at the back. Will the sleeping beast awaken here? AJ now, taking it himself. Stopped by JNaps, only as far as Typical. FaZe Clan now find themselves trailing just outside the final minute of a crucial fifth game. Opportunity denied by Naps.
Even after that electric goal from JNaps, things have quieted down. You can still feel the players locked in.
Yeah.
The tension still there. FaZe Clan fighting to get control of this game. They've got less than a minute to do it.
And under the final minute, I think FaZe Clan need to be less linear. First killer, he goes forward, but he needs to go into the midfield. Typical was waiting. Typical in position, first opting to go for the solo play. Just like we saw before with AJ, he could have found him, and Typical was waiting, but there was no pass that came out, Stacks.
Typical, big hammering clear, trying to get his team downfield as quickly as they can. Those opportunities are going to be few and far between here in the final 20-plus seconds.
Here we go.
First killer, lob one up. He's going to take it himself, give him the ball, and get out of the way. AJ waiting underneath. He'll come into action. Typical jumps, but JNaps jumps first with 10 seconds left. Atomic gets nudged away from the play.
Maybe
and an opportunity off the ceiling. Everybody commits. Nobody gets home. And JNaps will just bring it to ground. And G2 is 5 minutes away from the grand finals.
FaZe Clan took the house, and they came up empty. And now, their tournament lives are on the line. You saw the goal from JNaps on your screen. The man, the legend, is locked in. They want the grand finals, and FaZe Clan have one more game, one more life left to try to stop them.
Do we get a timeout? That is the question. New coach role is, you want to think that they do call the timeout, but at the same time, the first half, it was high-powered from FaZe Clan. They were really starting to thread the needle, opting to go for so many passes, looking for the center ball when they needed to. And we do, in fact, have a timeout from FaZe Clan, an extra 60 seconds on the clock to gather their emotions and figure out what they need to change.
That goal that we just saw right at the end from JNaps, a throwback to a point where he was unquestionably at the top of the game. And I think he just proved right there, he does indeed still have it. They are 5 minutes away with a 6th shutout here in this top 8 from G2.
She rolled this, talking to the team. Him being put in this situation has to get them back into the game. It's a monumental task for someone who is one of my best friends. But for him, this is where he wants to be. This is what he wants to do. That team wants him as well. They have to all lean on, they have to all work together if they want a chance here, because G2, I mean, they are just on another level, and it's just really hard for FaZe to get back into this.
And even with first killer, as deadly as he looks, he's going up for solo plays, he's getting denied. That man can't even get past one player. A lot has to change here for FaZe Clan. Think about it. This is it. I mean, the culmination of thousands of hours, hundreds of scrims, dozens of events. It's all led to today, this chance for FaZe Clan to make history, get into the grand finals, and have a shot at lifting that crown.
How do you overcome adversity? That's what FaZe Clan has to figure out. They are down to their last life in the World Championship. Neo Tokyo, the backdrop. It's been the graveyard for so many teams here at the World Championship. FaZe Clan must find a way to persevere against the G2 army.
G2 looking towards the trophy, looking towards the finals. FaZe Clan looking towards Champions Field. Who comes out on top as this game gets underway?
JNabs looking for another, but there's no flash of brilliance this time as it bounces out, and Typical gets a piece of this one off of Chicago. First killer. I'm sure he'd love to have a lot more boost than that, but he's found a way to get one over towards AJ, and Atomic had just enough time to react. But now here's Typical again, trying to live off of Penny. He's got another boost steal, and AJ is forced all the way back to bring it right back into the G2 end, and Typical just having to run all around as he started to come back. AJ launches it downfield, so he's got to turn and run. Now Chicago line it up, and he hits the crossbar.
Dangerous plays.
Typical.
G2 Esports first killer. He's past one of them, goes for the stall, gets to 50, and then G2 crashed the net. A big clear, alleviating.
And no one back there as Atomic plays this one high. G2 still looking for control. Chicago keeps this up. JNabs off the steal, and he gets a touch. Follow up from Atomic is in! G2 with the first goal!
Awkward ball off the ceiling.
Two of them win.
So difficult to read. And AJ left all alone in no man's land. It's G2's land now with a 1-0 lead 90 seconds in.
Just when FaZe Clan started to get a grip on this game, big clears, finding players downfield, everything slipped away. One double commit, one mistake, and the momentum shifts back in favor of the blue side.
Oh, Chicago's still working with this. You saw him try to be able to dish it out to JNabs. Lots of momentum here in favor of G2. FaZe Clan has to get this under control. Looking for the midfield. First killer does get that beat, but Typical can't get there in time. Atomic able to get a clear out. FaZe Clan, the pressure is working. They're forcing a double commit out from G2, but they can't follow up fast enough.
A team for whom top 4 has been the ceiling all season long. In big money moments like this, has to find a way to stop JNabs, who's an absolute man on a mission.
Look at Atomic go from the ceiling all the way down to the ground. And of course, his day one JNabs in position. That's how you get the second goal.
Now for FaZe Clan, the next question, how do you wake up from a nightmare when you're not even sleeping? Chicago across, holding possession for G2, trying to play keep away from every orange car out there. AJ finally got one forward. JNabs got a piece, and this is deflected off of all the walls, and first killer finally corrals one, but he doesn't have a lot to work with, and he just can't manufacture anything himself right now.
From the corner.
FaZe Clan's last chance. They gotta leave everything out there. You see Typical, first killer, trying to get that midfield. AJ goes for the challenge, completely whiffs one, and now Atomic with freedom, but not a lot of boost. Trying to play it low. Typical with a great challenge. Even better follow-up. AJ tries to get there, but again, just too little too late. G2 now charging down the field. Can Chicago get it through? Trying. High up off the ceiling, blocked out away. And G2 have to start over.
And so many teams, when they get to this point, as there's an open net for JNabs, doesn't find his mark. As I was saying, so many teams here on Championship Sunday have gotten a 1-goal lead and then hold on to it. We saw Furia do that several times against Moist Esports. G2 Esports, they've got 2 goals. 1 minute and 25 seconds left to hold on and represent North America in the grand finals. Almost made it 3-goal lead as they continue to fight for that 3rd goal.
Another opportunity, Chicago threatening to end all the drama here, but still just over a minute remains. Here comes FaZe, here comes Typical, he lost it. Now first killer, he's got to give it up. And he found AJ, but AJ could not find the net. Typical will try, all he could find is Atomic right in his face.
Time running out.
As Atomic tried to jump in front of AJ, that slowed him down, maybe just enough.
Midfield.
JNabs up there in time, but Chicago as he slams the door shut right in FaZe's face again.
That was the best drive they came up with all game long, and they come up empty. How much more in the tank?
Good flick.
Gets to two.
Double commit.
AJ, he has to get this middle. He does, but where's the follow-up? It was there from Sip, but it was blocked again. FaZe can't buy a goal. G2 looking to book their trip to the grand finals.
20 seconds, all that separates G2 from a shot at glory. And JNAPS leading the charge. Who else could do it but the Napman himself? The final countdown, counting FaZe out of the World Championship. And they get one more, a late Christmas gift with only 4 seconds left.
The pressure, just too much for FaZe Clan.
G2.
They literally made FaZe Clan tap out from the pressure. 3 seconds, 2, 1. G2 gets another shot at a World Championship. They take down FaZe in 6.
All 3 players absolutely out of their mind in this series, playing the best I think I have ever seen G2 Esports look, and especially the man in the hat, Chicago. Those saves in the final minute, you could see just how hungry he was to get another shot at lifting that trophy, and that man certainly earned it against FaZe Clan.
FaZe Clan made them bend, but the G2 army does not break, and they get another shot.
Here we go.
Grand finalist number 1 has been set as the World Championship continues to deliver.
This is incredible. In their victories, they are outscoring opponents 20-1. They dropped a couple games there. FaZe came alive, they scored 4. Threw a shutout themselves, but 7 out of 8 G2 victories. They have not allowed the opposition to score, and then the one game where FaZe Clan got one when they lost, that was 5-1. It almost felt like a pity goal just for G2 to let them think they had a chance. We've talked constantly about Moist being a favorite in this tournament. A lot of people forgot that JNAPS just has something else going right now. Chicago had been the guy up until this point, and now JNAPS is poised to push them across the finish line. One more look at the Mobile One high performance replay, and that man right there vying for a world championship that narrowly eluded him in New Jersey just 4 years ago.
And we take a look at the history of G2 Esports, picking up Atomic, replacing Drees, trying to make an impact and find some improvements on the field. At first, people judged it, people doubted it. I was also one of those doubters. Daz, I know you and I were harping constantly about the Atomic pick. Maybe it wasn't the right move. They proved it previously, winning a major, of course, now coming out. This is their chance to take home that championship title and bring one home to North America.
It's still there. It's still there. It ain't going anywhere until we get to the grand finals. G2 is there. They get to rest for just a moment after they're done with Orb momentarily. But for FaZe Clan, another top 4 exit in a LAN 3 out of 4 times. Heartbreak for FaZe, jubilation for G2, and Orb is standing by. I'm sure there's no bias whatsoever from Orb here.
Dickies, please give it up for the first team to make the finals, G2 Esports. My friend, I don't know if you know this, but you are one step away from being crowned world champion. How does that feel?
It feels unreal. I mean, season 7, I didn't really know what was going on. I was a newcomer back then. And now knowing what this means, I don't think I've ever wanted something more than this grand finals.
Now, in terms of the pressure for this match, where would you rank it in all the matches that you've played in terms of, well, the pressure?
It's definitely up there. I mean, we definitely felt a little bit more comfortable after getting on stage versus NRG, and we knew how to play, but we knew FaZe was coming in hot. But I don't have a ranking in my head, but it's definitely up there for one of the crazier matches.
Do you have anything to say to FaZe, who you just beat, formidable opponents?
I mean, FaZe, always the consistent top 4, always the underdogs for whatever reason. They're nuts, and they're going to get their victory soon. It's just a matter of time. So congrats to them, and they have it coming.
Now, would you say that FaZe is your biggest NA rival?
I guess now it is, yeah. Used to be NRG, but I guess that's over now. But excited for the new. Come on.
How about this? You're going to the finals. That's happening. Who would you rather face in that final?
Either I'm good with, but Furia was a pretty good match, so why not run it back?
I think the crowd wants you to run it back against Furia. Well, I mean, that is the question. Furia or BDS, who is it going to be? Stick around and find out.